Hello, everyone. It's Ted Cross here, Director of Product Management at Novi Labs, and I'm excited to welcome you to this episode of Energy Tech Talk, where we'll be discussing our latest release, proprietary oil and gas production data. Joining me today is Enno Peters, General Manager of Novi Labs' Netherlands team and founder of Shale Profile, which was acquired by Novi in late 2021. Enno leads our team from Rotterdam and is responsible for ensuring all of our data efforts are accurate, comprehensive, and up to date. And I may add that he's an absolute pleasure to work with, and he and the team are absolutely fantastic at innovating our data products and delivering exciting items to the market. So Enno, thanks for joining us today.
Hey Ted, thanks for having me and also for letting me talk about proprietary production data, which is something I am very excited about, and I believe a lot of people should be interested in it.
For sure, and I'm also excited about it, and I know when we've been out there talking to our customers on the road, talking to folks at NAPE last week, that they are also excited about the potential of having access to proprietary production data. So can you tell us a little bit about how that offering started? What problems does it solve? What was your thought process?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so anybody who has worked with oil and gas data in the US knows that a huge amount of production data is available. Unfortunately, the accuracy of this data is quite often a major issue, especially for states that do not report production data on the well level. For example, Texas and Louisiana. So these states report production data on the lease level, and there can be literally tens, hundreds, or even more wells on a particular lease. So in those cases, figuring out the actual performance of each individual well is a major challenge. We came to the conclusion that the best way to deal with this was to go to the source, to the operators, the mineral owners, and to try to get in their actuals. That's how the proprietary production data idea came about. And luckily, we found that several customers were interested in helping us getting this started. And that in turn has really helped in convincing others as well. And in Texas, for example, we already have now the actual well level production data for over 500,000 barrels per day. Okay,
that's a pretty serious number. If that were an operating company, it would be a pretty serious business for sure. So that's great to hear. So how exactly does it work?
Yeah, so what we did was we made agreements with these companies that allow us to republish their actual production data on a very regular basis. Of course, this happens through secure channels and in a fully automated way. And whenever we have new data, we verify the quality, for example, by cross-referencing other sources, and we flag any issues. And any bad or missing data we infer ourselves using all the valid production data that we still have, together with our advanced lease allocation methods. And for our customers' benefits, we also flag any production records that came from proprietary production data. The result of all this is that our customers get a cleaned version of all the actual production data.
Very cool. And I have to say, as we have been working through some of the initial production processing for this, it's been interesting to find, hey, this well are you sure it's producing 100,000 barrels a day? Or various other versions of that type of messy data, which, you can imagine we've seen all sorts of stuff over the years here. But as you guys have been going through this process and integrating in the data, have you seen any changes in the accuracy of the production data?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so before we launched this program, our algorithms used well header and other types of reported data to figure out the individual contribution for each individual well. But the signal was pretty weak in a lot of cases. And we found that typical monthly errors were often in the 10 to 20% range for individual wells, or even higher. And this presents a significant challenge for anybody using this data. For example, when you're trying to analyze well performance or generate forecasts or perform any kind of economic analysis. But just 2 months after the launch of this program, we already had the actual production data in for 13% of tight oil production in Texas across 50 different operators. And in Midland Basin, our coverage is even higher at 30%. And these numbers will continue to increase as we roll out this program.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic to hear that growth only in really just a few months. So what's next for the proprietary production offering?
Yeah, so we have also spent significant time to improve our existing lease allocation methods, which are still used for all other wells in states that do not report production on the well level. And we've been able to make rather large improvements to those methods, especially with the help of all the actual production data that we now have access to. There are lots of edge cases. For example, in Texas, you have the concept of stacked laterals. And if you know what was actually produced, that really helps in fine-tuning these methods. We can now rightfully claim that on several key metrics, Novi Labs has the highest quality production data for oil, gas, and water, even if we exclude the many wells that are part of proprietary production data.
Well, that sounds like a pretty incredible data set to work with. I mean, I know anytime I've been doing analysis, trying to figure out what a certain operator was doing for their wells or why some wells on a lease were producing more than others, the uncertainty in the allocation can be an issue. And so having the most accurate allocated data or even proprietary data is really beneficial for any type of analysis or valuation that you're doing. And we hear about that all the time. So how can customers access this? I'm getting excited about it, and I already have access, but tell us how everybody else can get access to it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's actually already available right now, Ted, through the Insight Engine, which is the interface through which we make all our oil and gas data available. And yeah, we believe that for all companies that rely on accurate production data, this is a must-have data set. With it, you can significantly reduce errors when you're, for example, evaluating an acreage or an operator.
Yeah, fantastic, Enno. Well, it's always exciting to see new powerful capabilities. We're about moving the industry forward here. And so thanks for your team for all the work on this and for sharing about the proprietary production data release that's just come out.
Thanks, Ted. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Enno. So that's it for this episode of Energy Tech Talk. If you want to learn more about proprietary production data or other Novi Labs offerings, please visit our website or contact us directly. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.